time for Nerdgasm.
Hey, what's up guys? Jerry here, aka Barnacles, and I'm coming at you with another episode of Hashtag Tech Tip. Now, this is the second tech tip video that I've done. You guys really loved the original one I did on Windows 10 privacy issues and how to protect yourself against them. And I figured that we would continue along those lines with this second installment by showing you a tool that I use to actually monitor my box and what's going on and actually keep an eye on what's going on over my network. Now, the tool in question I'm going to show you is actually called GlassWire. So we're going to go ahead and log into VMasaurus Rex right here. This is actually where I do all of my tech tip stuff, because if I completely bone the box or install something crappy or malware, I can just restore it back to a previous state and nothing lost. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the best web browser in the world right here. It's Microsoft Edge. That was a joke, in case you didn't get that. Microsoft Edge is the crappiest browser I've ever used in my entire life. Actually, I take that back. Internet Explorer 11 was the worst browser I ever used in my entire life. So at least they're headed in a little bit better direction. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and head on over to GlassWire.com. Here it is right here. And they actually advertise GlassWire as a firewall software, but it's actually a lot more than that. And I'll give you a little background here. I actually got this software about a month ago. The company contacted me and asked if I wanted to do a review of it. I get so many requests to review software, and I usually install it, and I'm just like, and I basically message them back and say, no way. I was pleasantly surprised with this one. I actually installed it, and I've been using it ever since, and now I've installed it on my laptop, my main computer, and my VMs. And I'll get into why. And you can also see they've got some cool accolades, right? I mean, PC World gave them 4.5 stars, PC Advisor, Lifehacker, Network World. I mean, they're a very well-known software. So let's go ahead and download the free version right here. Let's go over their page. You can see, ooh, we're down in 25, 34. Ooh, look at that fast internet go. Actually, my internet's pathetically slow, guys. All right, so GlassWire setup is downloaded, so we're going to go ahead and just run the software. Of course, it is going to ask you to run it elevated, but it is a verified publisher, so you don't have to worry. There is no malware or spyware in this, and if you guys find malware and spyware in it, then you guys can hand my ass to me, because I certainly have not found it. All right, this is version 1.1, so we're going to go ahead and just click Next. Yeah, I agree to your EULA. I'll be honest, I didn't read it. Who reads those things? If you read that EULA and it says anything in there that's concerning, please let me know, because I'm not going to read it. All right, by default, the tool sets itself up to run on startup. I wouldn't mess with that, because you're going to want this tool running as long as possible, because it actually accumulates a lot of data. And I'll show you guys that here in just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pin it to my taskbar, too. So let's go ahead and install that. I'm just going to do default location, GlassWire. Not to be confused with LimeWire. I know in my 3-hour live stream I did with Puget Systems building my HTPC, I called it LimeWire, and I'm sure that confused a lot of you, and you went and searched for it and probably found like some old peer-to-peer torrent-based tool used for nefarious things and such. I apologize for that. It is GlassWire. Okay, so let's go ahead and click Finish. Now, GlassWire is going to run. It actually feels like a very lightweight application. I haven't noticed any significant degradation in performance on my PC running this, which with most firewall applications, I absolutely do notice. So let's go ahead and minimize the web browser behind. So this is GlassWire right here, and it actually has a very, very smooth moving UI you can see here. And when you opened up at first glance, you're like, what the hell am I looking at? It's actually really cool they do this. You're looking at a live like histogram of everything that's happening on the network on this PC. Like for instance, if I come over here and click, I can pause it. Now I'm going to come over here and click on this, and it says first network activity detected from the host process for Windows services, otherwise known as BBNA. Now, this is cool because it tells you anytime any application or binary or service on the system initiates communication for the first time, you get one of these little guys in the histogram. And what's nice about that is if you accidentally install malware or spyware, the second that it tries to phone home, you get one of these, this initial connection thing. After that, it kind of fades into the graph and you can drill down on the information. I'll show you how to do that here in a little while. But for the most part, you get one of these little guys right here. So we can see since we installed GlassWire, we had an attempted network connection from the host process for Windows services, and we had another one down here that was GlassWire control service. Look, it even calls itself out. I already talked to the founder of GlassWire, and he assured me that the only connectivity between GlassWire and the server is to check for a newer version. Don't worry, they are not stealing your data. I mean, they're not Microsoft after all. Burn! All right, so I can go ahead and click anywhere on this graph with the right mouse button, and it resumes. And now you can see, you just have this cool little histogram going here. Oh, here, what are these spikes right here? You can scroll this little bar around, and you can see down here at the bottom of the screen, let me see if I got a little animation to draw your attention down there. Of course, it doesn't record it in VMware. Go figure. But you can see as I move the bar, it gives you information on what's going on. Like right down here, DS9, one of my systems, and that is the IP address on my local network of that system, transferred 201 bytes from this VM. Who in the hell knows what for, but at least it caught it. If we come over to this one right here, we can see another IP address on my network, transacted data in the form of 100 bytes. If we come over to this one, the host process for Windows, otherwise known, and you can get this like nice information down here, SVC host, EXE, transferred down some information and transferred up some information. Now, where did that information go? I can click on hosts, and now I can see that the information just basically went to my router. It basically just talked to my router, so no big deal there. And you can also look under alerts and see that, you know, this is one of the things that got caught for first-time network activity. So let's go ahead and let the little graph roll here. You can see there's still all kinds of new information here. It's constantly keeping tabs on everything. You can see the system is constantly playing around on the network. Like, ooh, what happened here? This one looks interesting. This is a new color down here, purple. So if we click this, it looks like it transacted some data to SLS, update Microsoft.com, NSATC.net. I'm going to guess that's probably some kind of Windows update traffic. But, you know, just so you can kind of scroll through here, but it gives you this live, real-time view of everything that's going on. And it constantly adjusts itself. And if you want, you can actually change the time to any scope that you want, so you can see it over a very long period of time. You can even do it like month, week, 24 hours, 3 hours, 5 minutes. So you can set it to anything that you want, and it tracks all this stuff that's going on. It also tracks when an app updates itself. At any point that an app updates itself, it'll actually give you a little notification down here that that app did that. And if you get the, if you register it, you actually get some cool things that tell you when the webcam turns on and off. Like, for instance, when I turned this cam on to record in OBS, which is the software I'm using to make this video, it actually popped up and said, OBS EXE has accessed your webcam. And then when I stopped the stream, it says that it stopped. So it's cool that you get those alerts. Now, if we come up here and we look at the top of the bar here, you have firewall, usage, network, and alerts. We're going to go ahead and work our way over, but I want to start with the alerts. This is one place where you can get information on all of the first-time network connectivity stuff. So, like, for instance, if I open up Internet Explorer here, and let's go to, like, Google. Oh, see down here? Down here in the corner, it says first network activity, first network connection initiated from Microsoft Edge content process. So you can open that up, and now you can see it recorded it in here. You notice that? So that's the first time that I opened a web page in Edge since installing GlassWire, and it actually tracked it. And if we come back over to the graph, you can see there is a cool little button down here that says, oh, first network connectivity, and I can even see where it connected to. So you can see first network connection initiated to A-001-A-MSEdge.net. For some reason, the browser is connecting to MSEdge.net. I don't know why. That would take further research, but you can see it's all color-coded in here, what is going on. The Microsoft Edge browser made a couple different connections. Here's some other stuff it connected to. Oh, no, sorry, that's the MSEdge.net. So if we come over here, it also connected to SEA09S17INF17, blah, 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 and it connected to that, and it connected to Google.com. So just by me initiating a connection to Google.com, Microsoft Edge contacted multiple Microsoft services, and I don't understand why it would do that. I mean, granted, it might be for like some search caching stuff and processing your search results, but I don't understand that. If I want to connect to Google, it should just connect to Google. Why the hell is the browser connecting to everything else? Here, I'm just curious. Let's go ahead and connect to Bing. So let's go to bing.com. All right, let's open it back up. So continue. All right, so now we got some traffic here. It looks like Microsoft Edge connected to 3 servers again. Sorry, where's the hosts? So one of these is Bing. Is it 224.00252? But it also connected to loginlive.com, and it connected to this msedge.net again. So the Microsoft Edge process keeps connecting to this MSEdge.net every single time I go to a new URL. But these are the kind of cool things that you discover using a program like this. Now, normally, you'd have to install something called a packet sniffer, and that's essentially what this is, but it breaks all the information down so it's very, very easy for you to digest, whereas a packet sniffer, you have to dig through thousands and thousands and thousands of network traffic packets and figure out what the hell stuff is. This figures it out for you. So now if we go up to the top here, you can also sort the graph by apps. So here are all the apps that so far have transacted network connectivity at Microsoft Edge. And each one is a different chart separated out so that you can go through and see all the different connections they made, like this 224.00252. I don't know what that is. Connects there an awful lot, though. You also have some internal networking connections. And then down here, if it says one more, you can actually click on it and it'll break out and give you all of the different information. You can also see the host process for Windows services made multiple connections to, ooh, it actually looks like it connected to some IP6 stuff. Still looks like probably local resources. Let's see, is it making any remote connections? It looks like a remote connection, but I'm not positive on that, guys. Like right there, 157.56.106.189. The host process connected to there. I don't know what it is, but it transacted a couple of bytes of data, probably something pretty insignificant. And then also, if you come over here, you can see all apps. It tells you how much information is uploaded and downloaded from each app. So as you continue to use the computer, you can see which applications are using most of the network. And you can also catch applications on your computer, like if you install something that's a part of a bot network that's uploading massive amounts of data. You can use this to catch it. You can also click on traffic right here, and it breaks down everything by the type of traffic it was. And what that means is what type of protocol was used to transact that over the network. Ooh, look at this. We have a little notification down here. It says first network connection initiated from the Spooler subsystem app. So if we open up the Spooler subsystem app right here, if we go to apps, Spooler subsystem application. Oh, it's my printer. So my printer transacted some information with my computer. Not a big deal, but still, it's cool that it catches all this stuff. And one thing you'll notice when you first start it up, it'll be pretty verbose, but it quiets down pretty quickly, so it doesn't become annoying, and it just sits in the background and only alerts you to things that are critical for you to know. But if we go back to the graphs and we go to traffic, you can see hypertext protocol is the majority of my traffic so far during this session. Couple kilobytes downloaded, couple kilobytes uploaded. Not a lot of stuff. But you can also see which is HTTPS secured, which one is just HTTP, so just standard unsecured. You also get NetBIOS and DNS, how much of your bandwidth is being used to resolve domain names and things like that. And DHCP server. I don't know what that is, but more stuff will show up under here as more protocols are used. So like for instance, let's go ahead and open up the Microsoft Store. So see, it said it just detected. We got another notification down here. It said the store just connected for the first time. So now if I just open up the store here, let's go to games. Let's just go search around a couple things like Star Wars. Go ahead and let this load. All right, so now that's loaded. Let's go ahead and minimize that down. We're going to come back here and we're going to look at apps. Go ahead and find host process edge alerts. Where's the store? So store initiated a connection. And it even tells you the exe too. So like if you want to do something about it, it's winstore.mobile.exe was the application that was running. You can also, if you think something might be a virus, you can even scan it from here. Like if you go to, where is it? Apps, store. So this is the store application. Come down here and click virus scan. It'll actually scan that specific exe to see if there's any virus. And the way that it's doing it is not only by definition, it's also searching for malicious things the program might be doing, like key logging and remote connections without the users knowing about it. But it's a pretty decent virus scanner. See, we're starting to build a little bit of rapport with the application here. So if we go back to the graph, go to all, we should see, now that if we unfreeze it, we should see store activity. So that's the Microsoft Edge browser, host process, system. You can read them as you're scanning the bar across the bottom. Let's see, more host process. Wow, that thing's very, very active on the network. You can also scan the bar back and forth through time. So you can scale it to however much data you want to see, or scan it across and look for spikes and things that are going on. Like right there, first network activity from store. So here it was. I just was missing it because it was further back in the histogram. But we can see that it connected to this deploy, aka maittechnologies.com, I believe. Sorry, I'm on a 4K screen. This stuff is really, really tiny. And then you can see all the data that transacted in a couple of spikes. Each time I clicked on something in the store, presumably these are the transactions that took place. So let's go ahead and move this back and let it just run. We can see I haven't been doing anything, but Microsoft Edge is continuing to make connections in the background. Who knows what for? So Microsoft Edge, I mean, it keeps phoning home to this amsedge.net site. I'm not really sure why, but if you guys know why it's just continuously connecting to that, I'd be curious to know why. Okay, so now you can visualize everything that each application's doing. Now let's say you want to do something about it. So let's go to the firewall. That's the second tab up here. And you can see there's a couple of options in the drop-down box. There's click to block, ask to connect. Now, if you do the ask, now these say buy next to them because it's not registered. If you register, you get that functionality, but you can block all. If you click block all when it's registered, sorry, it's opening up because it's not enabled. Once you activate GlassWire and buy a version of it, you will get that functionality. But if you do click or ask to connect, anytime you open an application that tries to connect to the network, it will actually ask you if you want to allow that application to connect to the internet. And that includes all new applications. You can do block all, which completely blocks everything from making connections from that point on. But I like click to block. Let's say we don't want the store to connect to anything anymore. We just click right next to it, and there's a little fire. See this little fire next to it? So now I firewalled the store. So let's go ahead and open up the store. Let's go back home. Let's click on like Facebook. Oh, check your connection. So I have now blocked the store application from connecting to anything. Isn't that kind of cool? Like, all I had to do was just click on it. I didn't have to go into firewall and create a rule and figure out what the ports are and everything. It's just there. I've now blocked the store app from making any connections, which is fine by me because I don't use anything that's in the store because I don't like modern applications. I like standard desktop applications. So I don't use the store at all. But if you have a tablet, you might use it. So you probably don't want to block it. So if I come over here to GlassWire and I simply right-click, or not right-click, just left-click and unblock it, now I can go back to the store, click on something, and it opens right up. So it's instantaneous. You just click. You don't have to click OK. You don't have to click apply. You don't have to wait. You can just block stuff. Let's say I want to block the Microsoft Edge browser. There's a Microsoft Edge content process. This is the one that keeps connecting to the freaking amsedge.net. Let's just block that. Let's see if the browser still works. Let's go to Google again. Oh, look at that. It will not let me go to Google if I block that process. So let's unblock that. And let's just block Microsoft Edge. Now I'm just blocking the browser. Funny, I can connect to Google. That's kind of interesting. This might just be my tinfoil hat, but why is Microsoft Edge spawning a second process and doing all the traffic through it? I mean, there might be a legitimate reason to do this, but it makes it kind of hard to firewall through conventional means, because if you firewall the executable for the browser, you don't actually stop it because it's transacting through this other Microsoft Edge content process, which connected, what is it, gstatic.com, probably something to do with Google there. So there's all the connections that it made to some SEA site, and then anyedgebing.com, gstatic. So that's doing all of the transaction. Well, not all of them. If you click on Microsoft, yeah, it is. Look at this. This is the only little bit of data that Microsoft Edge transacted. The Microsoft Edge content process is doing all the heavy lifting. That's interesting. Now, the reason why they might be doing that is because each tab may be the Microsoft Edge content process. It's not unheard of for these browsers to actually break out each tab in an individual process, but it does make things slightly harder to firewall. But if you wanted to come in here, let's say that I want to kill the store. I don't want it to be able to communicate anymore. I want the host process for Windows Service to stop talking to crap on my network. Now, keep in mind, these can stop things from working. You do have to kind of have a fundamental knowledge of what you're blocking. Like if you block Skype, obviously Skype isn't going to work, and things that depend on Skype aren't going to work. So just make sure that you test each time you tick or untick one of these boxes. But the nice thing about it is if you notice something going on, like for instance, let's do Windows Update. So if I open up Windows Update, this is a big one for a lot of people, so let's check for updates. Okay, you can see the host process for Microsoft Service is transacting some data right now. So Windows Update is actually going through this service, and there's the IP that it's connected to, 2374.48.42. So it's checking for the updates. So I'm going to go back to my graph. We can see the host process hitting the update server right here, fe2updatemicrosoft.com, and some other IP address that I'm unaware of. So it's getting some information. Let's see, is it still searching? Still checking for updates. Still checking. Okay, now it's installing some updates. I just told it to check for updates, and now it's preparing to install an update. And look at this, first network activity, OneDrive. So the second it started installing updates, it activated OneDrive, and OneDrive talked back to home. Did you see anything in the update process that was like, yes, I want OneDrive to talk on the system? I'm not saying that it's a bad thing or a good thing or anything. It's just nice that you have a program here to tell you when these things are happening, so you can get a better idea of what's going on that would normally be this undetectable thing in the background. So it just depends on, how pointy your tinfoil hat is. But I personally absolutely love this application. Here's another new one. Look right here at this spike. Detected the Microsoft Windows malicious software removal tool. just communicated its first data. Now that I would expect to be updating definitions constantly, and I'd be willing to bet that Windows Update probably just updated that. So now you know how to watch and monitor these processes, and they do become cumulative as more processes communicate. It records all of this data. Now, let's say that you're going to do something malicious, like use Bing, and you don't want somebody to know that you're using Bing if they go through these logs later on. You can go up to GlassWire and activate Incognito mode right here, Incognito on. And now you can see this gray bar over here. So now I'm going to go ahead and, you know, against all better judgment, I'm going to go to Bing. I'm just kidding. I actually like Bing as a browser. A lot of people beat me up for it, but I prefer Bing. So now I went to Bing. You can see here's all the data that transacted with Bing through the browser and the multiple different types of connections. Oh, I don't want anybody to know about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to GlassWire and I'm going to say disable or turn Incognito off, and we'll watch what happens here. It deleted all of that data from the data stream. So in the event that you want to do something malicious that you do not want tracked, or you want to do something like search for, I don't know, dwarf tossing or animals getting frisky or whatever crazy thing you don't want people to know you're searching for, make sure you enable Incognito and turn it off, and it'll erase all history of that segment. And then if you guys ever want to go in and actually erase everything, you can click on settings and come in here and just clear the entire history, and it will actually ask you if you're sure you want to do it, because obviously there's some value in having this cumulative data built up over time, because as you get more and more data, it becomes easier for you to click on the individual applications and drill down and see like what they've been communicating to over a period of time. And what's useful about that is I'll explain why this is hugely useful. Let's say you go into Microsoft Edge and you find this A134IM AKAMAI.net, or you find some URL that your computer's communicating to that you don't know what it is, you don't care, you don't want your computer to communicate with it anymore. You can actually open up an elevated command window, and you can actually go into the Windows System 32 drivers etc folder and edit a file called hosts. And then what you can do in hosts right here is you can already see a bunch of stuff here is already firewalled to 000 from Spybot Anti-Beacon. This all was put in there by the program I ran in the last tech tip video. But let's say we want to add something else. We can do 0000 and we can put like bing.com. And if we put that in there, now that, you know, whatever IP or host name you discovered through here, you put that in there, and now if I try to go to bing.com, oh, that's right, I think we established this in the last tech tip video that Microsoft Edge does not honor the hosts file. Chrome does, though. Actually, I think it does honor it for anything but Bing. So let's try blocking google.com. So okay, now I blocked google.com, so let's go ahead and kill this down, start it up again. Let's go to google.com. Nope. Just jumps right over the damn thing. Now, I just saw a notification while I was doing that a moment ago, so I want to click on my alerts. You can see, oh wow, look at this, system file changed. It actually has a notification saying that it detected something changed the host file. That's the first time I've seen this happen. That is actually really cool, because a lot of malicious programs will modify your hosts file in an attempt to redirect traffic to a malicious site. That's actually really, really cool. It also detected this download upload agent host, detected a background task host, and it also detected some communication directly from Windows Explorer. So you can see, I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here that you can go through on all the apps and everything. So now let's go ahead and skip over this. You get the gist of how the program works. Now if we go to usage, which is the next tab here, it breaks everything down. You can actually see which are the most connected hosts on your computer. Like you can see 4.6 megabytes of data transacted with this AKAMAI Edge.net, which I'm guessing is the Microsoft Edge browser, something or other. So the highest traffic per host came from that. So not going to the sites, not downloading the imaging, it was going to that. And then you can come over here and see that the store actually downloaded 4.6 megabytes of data. Who knows, maybe it did an internal update to itself. And even GlassWire calls itself out and how much data that it's transacted and what hosts it transacted with. So you can even come over here and click, you know, there's 9 different hosts that the Edge browser and store, there's 9 different hosts that the store communicated with right here. I mean, it's really cool how it breaks down the data, and you can see that I downloaded 12.7 megabytes so far and 1.4 megabytes of uploaded, and it even shows external versus local traffic. So it can even determine whether the traffic is leaving the gateway out onto the internet or whether it's traffic just between your local computers. And it can make that differentiation. Again, you can break it out by day, week, and month, and it gives you the dates and everything. I think this kicks ass. You can also do it by application, so you can see the application that consumed the most, 4.6 megabytes, was the store application. Microsoft Edge only consumed 30.2, but I think the Microsoft Edge content process, which is what the tabs were actually ran by, downloaded 3.3 megabytes. And again, you can see every single host that transacted and what the traffic type was. It's actually, this is very cool, even when you're playing games. Like if you're playing games like Call of Duty and stuff like that, when you fire it up, it'll tell you what servers it's connecting to, how much data is transacting. You can get a really, really awesome breadth and depth of information from this. And then you can click on traffic over here, and again, it breaks it all down by different types of protocols that were used for sending the data. Now, the last tab is the network tab right here, which you actually have to buy GlassWire to use. But it'll monitor, it'll list all of the network devices that GlassWire can monitor, which are all your local network cards, your Wi-Fi cards, stuff like that. Again, that's only available in the registered version. All right, now I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite features, and that is you can monitor all of the machines in your house if you have a registered version. With the demo version, you can only monitor one other machine. So I'm going to click Settings, and if you come down here to Client, you can click Remote Server. I'm going to go ahead and add a server, and I'm going to add my laptop, which is named William Jr. So I'm going to connect to William Jr., put in the password. I went ahead and enabled him as a server. So if I click OK, he should pop up here in just a second. Oop, I forgot to enable the connection. Hold on, Settings, Remote, click William Jr., enable connection, click OK. And now William Jr. right here is connected. So now you can see I have my local data and I have William Jr. So I can click down here. GlassWire client connection, it detected itself. So my laptop is running, sitting over here next to my main computer. And now I can monitor all of the traffic from my laptop and all of the traffic from my local machine. And if you have a bunch of machines in your house, you can install GlassWire on all of them if you get the license for it. You can install it on all the computers and monitor all of the throughput of all of the computers in your house, which is really, really cool. Also, if you don't speak English, there's lots of different languages that you can enable in here. You can also change the skins, so if you want to make it look different and change the color schema, you absolutely can. Wow, William Jr. is getting all kinds of frisky. What's it doing? William Jr., NVIDIA streaming agent made a connection. Okay, so NVIDIA streaming on there is doing something. GlassWire did a okay, so GlassWire connected to another computer in my house, and it also made a connection to Quest.net, which is funny because I don't even use Quest. I don't even have any Quest internet, but for some reason Steam made a connection to something on Quest.net. Also, one of the biggest reasons I decided to make this video is not only is it good software, but I experienced only one crash using it over an entire month's period of time on William, my main PC. And that one crash, I was able to take a dump file, send it to them at GlassWire, and within 10 minutes I got a mail back saying, "Thank you for the dump file, we're investigating and we'll get this fixed immediately." And the person that mailed me back was actually the founder, the person that owns the company. So that is a person that is on the ball and paying very close attention to emails and problems that are going on with his software, and you can tell that they take a great deal of pride in this software, and it's actually quite amazing. It's got a lot of other features I haven't shown you guys, like you're able to screenshot the graph at any point and share it on Twitter, or you can save it to your disk if you want to show it to other people. There's a lot more going on here, but it's a beautiful piece of software. It works fantastic. If you want to visualize your network, what your computer's connecting to, and know what's going on with all of your applications, this is the software to do it. And it's also really cool that anytime you install something, if it installs some malware or some spyware in the background, or it tries to mess with how your computer's connecting to things, this will catch it, and you will be able to come in here and see exactly what's going on. Now, during this demo, this is a live demo, it's not scripted. It started from a VM that I've only used in my last tech tip video and haven't done any connectivity. So everything that we're seeing throughout this video and everything was completely organic. And some of the notifications that I received were actually somewhat surprising. So I hope you guys really, really enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give GlassWire a try. There is a link in the video description. I've also got a ton of feedback already just from the few times I've tweeted it out on Twitter with people that are saying that yes, they've used it, they love it. There's some people that said that they've even been using it since alpha, which is longer than me. and actually really enjoy it. I also would like to note to you guys that this isn't a replacement for something like pfSense or a centralized router in your house that's running a firewall software. This software is designed to firewall each local machine that it's installed on and monitor that local machine and whatever other local machines you have the software installed on. It's not designed to monitor all of the traffic coming in and out of your local network, because it's not at the router level. Obviously, it's running at the computer level. But if you do have a Windows-based router set up where you create a computer and you're running some kind of routing software, I don't see why you couldn't run GlassWire to monitor all of the traffic coming in between two network cards. But I personally haven't tried that, so I can't speak to it. So if you guys have any other questions, please leave them down below in the comment or come over and tweet me at Barnacles over on Twitter. If you guys are enjoying this tech tip episode, please give this video some love and hit that like button. If you didn't like it, hit that dislike button. It's the only way I'm ever going to learn. And if you guys know of other programs, please list them down in the comments and let me know why you use them, what things are better, what things are worse. Let's share all this knowledge with the public. But lately, with the Windows 10 privacy issues and everything and combating that, I'm really big on security and privacy. And so far, after using GlassWire for a month, I have to give it a huge thumbs up and say that it's a piece of software that I very, very heavily trust, and I use it constantly. I'm always looking at this thing every single day, especially when I install a new piece of software that I'm not 100% on, you know, like somebody recommends something and I install it. I watch this thing like a hawk to see what's going on, because the second I see that thing connecting out to random thousands of servers and everything like that, I'm going to get it off my box. I'm going to firewall it, get it off my box, and clean it up. And GlassWire helps me do that. All right, guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Till next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. Also, come over to Twitter. I'm at Barnacles. I'm a real social guy. Also, if you have a couple of minutes, check out some of these many other videos. I made them myself.